Hello and welcome. This is News Now, reaching you live from iBrandTV News Studio, Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up, President Buhari officially approved the training to arm aviation security officers at airports across the country. House of Representatives cleared the air on the customs recruitment exercises. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma presents 381 billion naira as proposed budget for the 2022 fiscal year. Nigeria startups raised 60% of African tech funding in 2021. Glad to have you join us, and here are stories making headlines at this hour. I am Perpetua Fasome Peter. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has officially approved the training to arm aviation security officers at airports across the country. The Managing Director of Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Captain Rabiu Yadudu, disclosed this to journalists in Abuja while speaking on the sidelines of an event organized by the Abuja Transport and Aviation Correspondents Association. Yadudu, who was represented by the Director, Human Resource and Administration, Norris Anozie, said FAN has been doing a lot of training for aviation security officers. A few days ago or yesterday, the President approved the ability for us to be able to train AFSEC officers who can carry firearms. So we are robustly managing the challenges of insecurity, and we are doing our best to give people confidence that things will improve. End of quote. Yadudu said travelers using the airport this season should not panic about their safety, adding that the federal government was working hard to ensure that the airports were free of touts and other forms of insecurity. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has urged all Nigerians to ensure the protection of the nation's democracy, saying it still remains the best-known system of government known to humanity. Also, a former chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Professor Atahiru Jega, said the 2023 general elections are under threat because of peculiar insecurity in different geopolitical zones in the country. Both eminent Nigerians spoke at the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies, IPSS, University of Ibadan, in honor of a former governor of the Oyo State, the late Senator Abiola Ajimobi.
This system of government guarantees accountability of the electorate. And as the electorate determined in every electoral cycle by their free choice whether the mandate given was properly utilized. How do we ensure that every vote will count? How do we protect the government of the people, by the people for the people, and ensure that this legal famous people will get a lot of terrorism from the face of the earth?
House of Representatives has cleared the air on the customs recruitment exercise to avoid the misinformation making the rounds on the ongoing process on the websites of the Nigerian Customs Service. The chairman, House Committee on Customs, Leke Abejide, made this known in Abuja while briefing journalists. Our correspondent, Igboje Korea, has the details.
House Committee on Customs, Leke Abejide, while advising Nigerians to take advantage of the recruitment exercise, said it is not a massive recruitment but a replacement to fill vacant positions. Honorable Abejide said all states are given equal employment opportunity in the recruitment process.
Customs has done the best in this regard. It's equal. Then the issue of the bill is not all the sections they are talking about. They are talking about some section that will suit them the way they want. They don't want to be regulated. And it cannot work that way. People that are operating in the port, they don't want customs to regulate them at all. They want to do something and go scot-free. It's no longer going to be possible. We will not listen to that. The ones that are useful, we take. Those ones that are not useful, we take it out.
Abejide said he's optimistic that the new Custom Act, which is currently at the stage of public hearing at the National Assembly, if repealed or reenacted, will enable the service to generate more revenue as well as employ Nigerians into the service. Igboje Korea, reporting for iBrandTV News.
Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has presented 381 billion naira as proposed budget for the 2022 fiscal year to the Imo State House of Assembly. The budget is made up of 96 billion naira recurrent expenditure, representing 23.36%, and 284 billion naira as capital expenditure, representing 74.64%. Igboje Korea has details.
Governor Hope Uzodinma said that the objectives of the budget was to satisfy the desire of the people by promoting sustainable economic development in the state. The governor added that it was also aimed at putting the well-being of the people at the center of governance through massive reconstruction of dilapidated infrastructure.
This is an important document that captures the proposed medium-term capital expenditure on programs and projects of the state over a period of time. Another great budgetary innovation worth mentioning here is the citizens' budget. This is an abridged version of the 2022 budget. The difference is that it is written in a simple language and it is a product of an open, participatory, transparent and inclusive process of the people of Imo State through citizens' engagement.
Assuring the governor that the budget would be passed in good time, Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mr. Kennedy Ibe, expressed confidence that the budget would address the aspiration of the people by providing infrastructure across the state.
Will address the aspirations of genuine and patriotic Imo sons and daughters by providing more infrastructural facilities for the states, as well as enhance socio-economic advancement of Imo State.
Igboje Korea, reporting for iBrandTV News.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has said that President Muhammadu Buhari does not have any excuse for not signing the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. He argued that contrary to claims that the president is holding back due to the quagmire over direct and indirect primaries as embedded in the bill, the main issue remains the electronic transmission of results. The governor added that because there are opportunities for clauses in a bill to be further amended, the president has no excuse why he could not have signed the bill and called for sections to be revisited. Speaking further on the issue, the Rivers State Governor said, based on the Constitution, the National Assembly has the right to override President Buhari by 2/3 of the two chambers to veto the president's decline, though he doubts they will toe that line. Governor Wike, in his final summation on the matter, stated that by refusing to assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, President Buhari leaves Nigerians to doubt his promise as regards ensuring that the 2023 election will be free and fair. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has condemned the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and President Muhammadu Buhari over incessant attacks and killings in Sokoto, Niger, Katsina, Kaduna, Plateau States, and other parts of the country by terrorists. In a statement signed on Sunday by its spokesperson, Debo Olugunagba, the party asked the president to demonstrate leadership and empathy by personally visiting the troubled states in line with his campaign promise to lead the fight against terrorism from the front. The PDP also berated APC and its leaders for finding time to attend the turbaning ceremony of President Buhari's son in Katsina State and not showing empathy for the scores of people killed in bandit attacks. PDP likened the action of the APC leaders to dancing on the graves of the victims of the attacks. They therefore called out the APC to come clean on its alleged connection to killings. The party commiserated with victims of the horrific attacks and urged Nigerians not to resign to despondency, but continue to support one another. PDP also urged the Buhari-led administration to develop a wholesome strategy to proactively tackle insecurity, including targeting the source of funds to terrorists. The United States has said that Nigeria got most of the tech startup funding in Africa for 2021. Speaking at the Nigeria Tech Summit on Friday in Abuja, the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, said African startups raised about $2.9 billion in total, whereas Nigerian-based companies raised $1.7 billion. Leonard reiterated the U.S. commitment to offering support to Nigeria's burgeoning technology and innovation space. She expressed the hope that an enabling environment would help create more global businesses birthed in Nigeria, adding that the COVID-19 pandemic did not hinder the support the U.S. government offered. Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Mr. Abdulrasheed Bawa, has continued his testimony in the alleged 1.4 billion fuel subsidy fraud trial of Abubakar Ali Peters and his company, Nadal Energy Limited. The EFCC boss on Monday arrived at the court premises to continue his testimony before Justice Christopher Balogun of the Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja. Bawa is the star prosecution witness in the case. Earlier in September, the EFCC boss gave extensive details of how the EFCC conducted its investigations and uncovered the fraud. Through the witness, the court also admitted in evidence several documents as proof of the alleged fraud. Led in evidence by the counsel to the commission, Mr. Seydou Ate, the EFCC chairman, also told the court how the commission in 2012 received a complaint from the then Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Desane Alison Madrike, alleging fraud in importation of PMS by the firm Nadal Energy Limited. It equally received a petition from the law firm of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana. A Yoruba group known as Concerned Yoruba Mothers has called on past and current heads of state on the urgent need to address the security situation in the nation, describing the continuous loss of loved ones as sickening. Princess Oyeronke Akinlolu made this known while speaking on behalf of the group at Jogos Center, Ibadan. Akinlolu affirmed that the group is strongly advocating for the removal of the 1999 Constitution and go back to the 1963 Constitution. The group also advised Yoruba masses on the need to avoid politicians who have started gearing up for another election without addressing the issues of insecurity and poverty level of the people.
We would like to thank and give kudos to our Yoruba leaders, elders, that has been at the forefront upholding the struggle for restructuring and self-determination for our dear Yoruba land. We hereby request our leaders between the age bracket of 60 to 79 to come together in unity of purpose and give us a male and a female as leaders which the masses can rally around and see as Ashoju of Yoruba land, because they are closer to the Sorosoke generation. We only plead with all our Igbimo Agba Yoruba to stop taking political decisions and making political statements on our behalf.
Some armed men invaded the North Campus of the Polytechnic of Ibadan in the early hours of today, December 20, 2021. The armed robbers during the invasion stormed some flats housing some lecturers of the institution. One of the lecturers in the institution, identified as Emmanuel Okedara, was shot during the operation and is currently receiving treatment in an undisclosed hospital. Also, property worth millions of naira were carted away by the armed robbers. The Public Relations Officer of the institution, Alhaji Soladoye Adewale, confirmed the incident to journalists on Monday, adding that the institution has put necessary security arrangements in place to forestall future occurrence. Still to come, opposition party in Burkina reappoints Eddie Komboigo. Details and more news update after this commercial break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Moving on to stories from around Africa. Hundreds of thousands of people marched to the presidential palace in Sudan's capital Khartoum on Sunday in protest at the October 25th military coup, during volleys of tear gas and stun grenades from security forces. Some protesters managed to reach the gates of the palace, and the protest organizers called on more to join a planned sit-in there after sundown. But live video footage showed those who remained being tear-gassed heavily. Protests against the coup have continued even after the reinstatement of the Prime Minister last month, with demonstrators demanding no more military involvement at all in government in a transition towards free elections. According to the Sudanese Health Ministry in Khartoum, 123 people were injured in the protests that occurred at the twin cities of Bari and Omdurman, as well as the eastern city of Kassala. Medics affiliated with the protest movement accused security forces of using live bullets and heavy tear gas to disperse the sit-in, assaulting protesters and stealing their personal property. They also accused them of encircling hospitals and firing tear gas at the entrances. There was no immediate statement from police. The main opposition party in Burkina Faso, CDP, has re-elected Eddie Komboigo as its leader. The election took place on Sunday during the 8th Congress in the capital, Ouagadougou. The party presented a new political bureau comprised of 89 members that marks another turn for the party founded 25 years ago. Eddie Komboigo, president of the Congress for Democracy and Progress Party, thanked party members and promised fair management of the party, with emphasis on mobilization and support of grassroots. The party confirmed former leader Blake Kampora as honorary president and vowed to increase internal cohesion. So foreign news now. At least 8 people have died in floods that have ravaged Malaysia as the government faced criticism from the public and opposition lawmakers over its rescue efforts. Floods are common on the eastern coast of Malaysia during the annual monsoon season between October and March. But unusually heavy rainfall that started on Friday has put a strain on emergency services across the country. Malaysia has mobilized its army and other security agencies across 7 states, with the worst flooding in Selangor, the country's wealthiest and most populous region. Selangor police reported 8 people found dead in the floods on Monday, according to state news agency Bernama. They include 4 in Taman Sri Muda, a neighborhood in the district of Shah Alam, where many people are still believed to be trapped in homes and apartment buildings, as rescue efforts were hampered by lack of boats and manpower. More than 32,000 displaced people from Selangor have been moved into temporary shelters as of Monday, but it is unclear how many more remain to be rescued, with communication lines cut off in many parts of the state. Russia said on Monday it urgently needed a response from the United States on its sweeping security demands, and again warned of a possible Russian military response unless it saw political action to assuage its concerns. Moscow, which has unnerved the West with a troop build-up near Ukraine, last week unveiled a wish list of security proposals it wants to negotiate, including a promise NATO would give up any military activity in Eastern Europe and Ukraine. Washington has said some of Russia's proposals are obviously unacceptable, but that the United States will respond sometime this week with more concrete proposals on the format of any talks. The U.S. response is likely to shape Moscow's calculus over Ukraine, which has become the main flashpoint in East-West relations. The United States and Ukraine say Russia may be preparing an invasion of its ex-Soviet neighbor. Russia denies that and says it is Ukraine's growing relationship with NATO that has caused the standoff to escalate. That's compared it to the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, when the world came to the brink of nuclear war. And coming up after now is the business news with Bolandi.
Hello and welcome to Business News. I am Omobolanle Adeshui, and here are the stories we're tracking at the moment. The federal government has inaugurated 160 fully furnished homes at the newly developed Cosgrove Smart Estate in Wuse, Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Cosgrove Smart Estate, Wuse, Abuja, consists of 160 homes and leverages the integration of technology in real estate development in Nigeria. The Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dari, and the FCT Minister, Mohammed Bello, jointly expressed delight in the ability of the indigenous company to achieve a great leap forward in the evolution of the housing sector. Bello explained that the FCTA places a premium on infrastructural development in the city, adding that the housing subsector was the most dynamic with the active participation of the organized private sector, which deploys world-class designs, new building technology, and innovations. The Lagos State government, as part of its promise to relocate Okobaba sawmill operators to Timberville, has commenced the verification exercise for stakeholders and prospective beneficiaries of the purpose-built facility. This was contained in a statement signed by the Deputy Director, Public Affairs, Lagos State Office for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Mr. Mukaila Sanusi. Speaking during the inauguration of the verification exercise, the Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Idris Salako, stated that the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu was working to relocate the millers to the new facility. Salako noted that the verification exercise was to update the list of stakeholders and ascertain their levels of readiness for the planned relocation. Insiders in fundamental stocks on the Nigeria Exchange Limited transacted 32.4 billion naira worth of stocks in 2021. The insiders include managing directors, deputy managing director, non-executive directors, and shareholding firms, among others. The companies whose directors were involved in the transactions include Nestle Nigeria PLC, Dangote Cement PLC, Guarantee Trust Holdings PLC, FBN Holdings PLC, Access Bank PLC, Fidelity Bank PLC, Nigerian Breweries PLC, MTN Nigeria PLC, and United Bank for Africa PLC. Investigation revealed that Nestle Nigeria PLC recorded the most active traded stock on Nigeria Exchange by insiders, followed by MTN Nigeria PLC. Between January and December of this year, Nestle SA, a majority shareholder in Nestle Nigeria, purchased ordinary shares worth 25.6 billion naira at a unit price of 18.4 million and average price of 1,394 naira per share. The Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority, NEPZA, has raised objections to sections of the proposed Customs Service Reform Bill, pointing out that they tended to weaken and subvert the country's special economic zones. In its submission during the public hearing on the bill at the House of Representatives, NEPZA explained that the free zones are areas designated as such by the President to serve as a one-stop shop investment hub, wherein incentives are provided in form of tax holidays, simplified customs and immigration processes, amongst others, with a view to attracting investors. The authorities argued that the proposed amendment bill seeking to give the service powers to make regulations in the zones will weaken and subvert their laudable objectives. It said the one-stop shop concept, in furtherance of which regulations were made for all the active free zones with the involvement of customs and all relevant stakeholders, would be eroded if the provisions of the bill were allowed. The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, has partnered the federal government in a bid to curtail the current threat posed by the deadly aflatoxins on food production, preservation, and consumption. Aflatoxins are a family of toxins produced by certain fungi that are found on agricultural crops, including maize, peanuts, cottonseed, and tree nuts. They represent threats to both plants and animals, including humans, as large doses of aflatoxins lead to acute poisoning that could be life-threatening, usually through damage to the liver. FAO representatives in Nigeria and ECOWAS, Mr. Fred Kafiro, at the Inception Workshop on Technical Support to Aflatoxin Management and Mitigation in Nigeria in Abuja, said food safety remained a shared responsibility between government, producers, and consumers, adding that everyone has a role to play from farm to table to ensure the food consumed is safe and healthy for a better tomorrow. And stock futures were lower in early morning trading Monday, following a losing week as investors continue to grapple with the resurgence of COVID cases and an upcoming shift in the Federal Reserve's easy monetary policy. Futures on the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 455 points or 1.29%. S&P 500 futures dipped to 1.39%, and Nasdaq 100 futures declined 1.28%. The major averages are coming off a negative week, with the S&P 500 declining 1.9%. The tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite dropped nearly 3% last week as investors dumped high-flying growth stocks on the prospect of higher interest rates, while the Dow slipped 1.7%. Some investors are hoping for a Santa Claus rally into the year-end, which calls for positive market performance in the last 5 trading days of the year and first 2 trading days of January. And on the foreign scene, tighter restrictions are being considered around the world as spiraling cases of the Omicron COVID-19 variant looms over the festive holiday period. A number of curbs have already been introduced in certain countries across Europe. The Netherlands entered full lockdown from Sunday until mid-January, leaving only supermarkets and essential shops open. Schools in the country have been closed. People will not be able to have more than 2 visitors over the age of 13 per day, although these will be raised to 4 people between December 24 and December 26. In Germany, meanwhile, only German citizens, residents and transit passengers will be allowed to enter the country from the UK from Monday, with all inbound travelers required to quarantine for 14 days, irrespective of vaccination status. Travel restrictions were also imposed for arrivals from Denmark, Norway and France. While in Spain, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez will meet with regional leaders on Wednesday to discuss containment measures for the coming weeks. Italian leaders are also reportedly weighing further restrictions and will meet Thursday for talks. Well, that's it on business news. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Thank you, Omobolande. Coming up next is the entertainment news.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment News. I am Michelle Abanum. Adele and Ed Sheeran were announced on Saturday as 2 of the top nominees for the 2022 Brit Awards, with 4 nominations each. Rappers Dave and Little Sims also received 4 nominations for the awards, in a list that saw Britain's annual pop music honors dispensing of male and female categories. Organizers said last month that they were introducing gender-neutral awards for local and international artists, with performers now in the running for Artist of the Year or International Artist of the Year. The nominees for the 2022 Brit Awards are in, and one of our favorite Nigerian singers-songwriters was nominated in a major category. CK has been nominated for International Song of the Year for his single Love Nwantiti. This is his first nomination for a Brit Award. The Weeknd, Olivia Rodrigo, Lil Nas X, Billie Eilish, Doja Cat and Drake are among the other nominees in the same category. Love Nwantiti was released by Chocolate City in 2019. It went viral on TikTok in 2021 and became an international smash, charting in Europe, Africa, Australia and New Zealand, as well as reaching number 23 in the UK and earning him his first Billboard Hot 100 entry. Moving on, Wale Folarin, the American rapper, made a surprise appearance at Wizkid's Live Sport X Festival, which was held in Lagos on Sunday evening. Wale, who recently announced his split from his management team, joined other fans and guests at the venue in Lekki, Lagos. Popular Nigerian OAP and hype man Dotun hosted the event. Among the artists who were at the show are Olamide, Simi, Bella Shmurda, CK, Rema, Bad Boy Teams, Jay Wise and DJ Spinall. And that's it on Entertainment News. I am Michelle Abanem. Thanks for watching.
Up next is sports news.
On sports update at this hour, Tottenham Hotspur are out of the Europa Conference League after UEFA ruled they forfeited their final match against Rennes. The match on 9th of December was called off following a COVID outbreak with 13 positive cases at the London club. UEFA then said that the match could not be rescheduled and referred the matter to its disciplinary body. The game against Rennes was Spurs' final game in Group C of the Europa Conference League. It awarded Rennes a 3-0 win and they topped the group, with Vitesse runners-up and Spurs finishing third. Following the outbreak, Spurs were forced to close their first-team training centre, with their subsequent Premier League games against Brighton and Leicester City also postponed. And still talking sports update, Manchester United will name its current group managing director, Richard Arnold, as the new chief executive within the next days. Arnold, currently the group managing director, will effectively replace Ed Woodward, who has held the title of executive vice chairman since 2012, but will instead become the company's chief executive. Woodward is expected to remain at United in a consultancy role for a number of months. Arnold was previously United's commercial director, and he will become the first person to hold the CEO title at Old Trafford since David Gill stepped down in 2013. And in the world of tennis, former world number 1 Rafael Nadal has tested positive for COVID-19 after returning home from the Mubadala World Tennis Championship in Abu Dhabi. The 20-time Grand Slam champion was beaten by Britain's Andy Murray in the semi-finals of the exhibition event on Friday. The 35-year-old only just returned to action in Abu Dhabi after a long injury layoff caused by foot injury. Nadal's plans of playing in an ATP tournament in Melbourne before competing at the Australian Open, which starts on the 17th of January, is now in jeopardy. And that's it on Sports Update. I'm Samson Oleide.
Thank you, Samson. It's a wrap on News Now at this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. To enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now.